1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. Good evening. All right. Well, I can see the live stream. So, all right. Thank you, Mark. 1 second after. Thank you for the 5x5. Mr. Landfill, Ozark Prepper, Groundhog, Susan, Maria. Thank you for the 5x5. Silver Graham, Rock, RM, WTC, single parent. Thank you for the 5x5. Hudson, what's going on? Joanne, Wayne, Water Tiger, Kevin, thank you for the 5x5. Undead One, thank you for the 5x5. Rita, thank you for the 5x5. So they got the fire started for me, as you can see. This is my last day in a resort. I go back home. And anyway, guys, apparently, listen, so we're going to jump right into all of the nonsense that's going on. Oh, give me 2 seconds, sorry. And yeah, so there's a lot of BS going on. Now, I have to mention one of my subscribers mentioned the other day that CUNY students are not protesting. They're not involved in this nonsense that's going on around the nation. And with that, just a day ago or 2 days ago, no, yesterday, City College, right down the block from the wife, they are now setting up an encampment. So again, these kids are carrying on with their BS protesting. And today's video, we're going to ask, is this going to spill over into the streets? Now, what I mean into the streets, guys, I mean not what we saw the other day, or sorry, a few months ago when these rallies started, not what we saw in DC, but do you think there are going to be more people, more agitated, more violent, whatever the case might be? I definitely see something on the horizons with this, but we're going to talk about it tonight because I find it interesting. And yes, if you guys do not mind, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. But this fire is going to get going probably in another 5 minutes, really good. But anyway, I really can't see the screen tonight, so give me 2 seconds. Hopefully that's a little, sorry. Dang. All right, hopefully that works. That's a little better. Thank you, sir. But anyway, yeah, so listen, this nonsense, I just feel it's going to get worse. I think, and so do a couple other people, they think something drastic is going to happen involving these kids and their protesting ways. Now, a lot of you who are watching are old enough, older than me, to remember when these kids were protesting the Vietnam War. And there were colleges across America doing the same exact shit, except for I don't think they were camping out in the colleges back then. I think they were just straight up and down protesting and having it out with state guards or state troopers. I'm sorry, state troopers or National Guards, excuse me. And here in 2024, we're seeing something similar, and there are states like Texas that's not fucking around, and they're oh shit. Sorry about that. Give me 2 seconds. Um, Sorry about this. If it dies again, I'm gonna have to hold it. All right. Maybe the weight is too much or it's too cold. Could be that. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Thank you to Roaming Prepper. So anyway, guys, yeah, I'm using a what you call it? I'm using a gimbal. So if the gimbal stalls again, I'm just gonna have to hold it for the rest of the night, or get my other tripod out. But anyway, so yeah, it's tonight right now. It should be 32 degrees right now in Stowe, Vermont. And then Rock said, "What about the Vietnam War?" Well, just that kids were protesting it in the same manner. I think it might have been a little more aggressive, at least with the police side, from all the videos and the pictures that I've watched. I think the police and or state troopers and National Guards weren't having it. I think they were a little more, um, they're a little more, ready to rock and roll kind of shit. But sorry, but in 2024, it's not as such. Though Texas was, they weren't having it, man. They weren't playing around. They were fucking giving it to them. So, you know, well, everything is fucking freezing out here tonight. Jesus. So hopefully this fire gets up a little more, and then did you? They had snipers on the roof. I don't know if they had any of those at these rallies. I'm like 100% sure they didn't. But yeah. Anyway, guys, so things are getting exponentially aggressive. I won't say bad. I won't say too violent. I think the kids are doing just that. They're being kids. They're setting up tents and shit. But again, I don't know what the I don't know what the I just don't know how it's going to turn out. Let's just put it like that. But give me a second or two. All right, this thing is resetting itself. All right, so City College is now the new location. There are probably about 30 or 40 locations right now springing up throughout the nation, and more colleges are going to jump on board with this nonsense. So the thing is, guys, is a lot of colleges are not fighting back. I mean, yeah, there is free speech. That is very understandable. We can't, like I said, guys, we can't look at it one way or the other. These kids are enacting their free speech, they are embracing it, and they're talking about what they feel is their fight, their applause. But I don't think that this is going to be the end. I don't think it's going to stop here. Like I said, I think one of these kids are going to do something extremely stupid, and this is going to get out of hand. Sorry. Excuse me. So that's the last time that happens. But anyway, guys, um, this is just something that we're going to see for the near future. And I think we're going to see an event that's going to, again, I think scare the shit out of a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to be scared at what I think might be coming in our direction. Yeah, I think it's just too cold out here, and everything is just too far away, and it's too cold, and I think that's why everything's giving me shit. So I do have another tripod, but it's inside. So once my iPod gets up and running, I can get the other tripod set up, and it's not battery operated. So yeah, but everything out here is being a pain in the ass right now. All right, so do you think, one for yes, two for no, do you think we're going to see another round of civil unrest spilling over into the streets. And when I mean into the streets, I'm talking about, do you think there are going to be more encampments throughout the country? Not necessarily in colleges. One for yes, two for no. Well, there's a lot of yeses. Okay. Nobody's no. Okay, there was one no in there. Thank you. I mean, listen, I'm sort of on the fence with this myself. Um, let's see. Give me 2 seconds. Trying to get one of my kids to bring my photography bag out here. All right. I say one depression all over again. Yeah. So listen, guys, it is very nice fire. Now it's starting to get warm. I might even have to back away from it. But everything just gave me shit. I mean, everything shut down on me. This thing, this DJI tripod is no good in the cold. It was just like either it's no good in the cold, or the receiver, for the DJI Mic 2 receiver is just too heavy for it. I don't know which it is yet, but whatever. It worked fine the other night, but now tonight's just giving me shit. It's just like, fuck you, stupid. I mean, it's still on, or rather, it turned off. I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't working. Whatever. I'll deal with it later. So with that, guys, I don't know. I agree to one extent. We might see this shit spilling over into the streets and becoming a problem for everyone. Right now, these idiots are in their college. They are canceling graduations, by the way. There are a couple of graduations that are now being canceled, and the city college thing. So, City College in Manhattan, New York, they have a commencement outdoors. Obviously, they pick a day where it's not raining, and they have this commencement outdoors. And these kids are camping in that area, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get a better sense of it once I go back to New York. But still, a lot of colleges are telling their students that the rest of the school year is over. The rest of the school year is over, and that they should zoom in from school. All right, 2 seconds. I know. Put the bag down. Just hold this, at, pointing at the fire. Hold on, right here in the middle. Don't shut anything off. So yeah, my son's holding the camera now, trying to get this shit out of here before he freezes to death. Your mother won't think so if you fucking die out here. She's like, why is he a popsicle? But anyway, a lot of us guys, again, this is going to be a problem. People are, like I said, losing out on graduation because, you know, they bought their dress, they bought whatever they were buying, and now they might not have a commencement. They might have to do it online like they did during COVID. And I found interesting that a lot of these schools went right to COVID standard. They went right to COVID standard, and they started Zooming. They want the kids now to Zoom from school because they don't want them to get hurt because of these kids and their bullshit rallies. So that's interesting in itself. Sorry. Get too cold. Yeah. Say again? Save the live stream. Yeah, there's always somebody on here. And then one of the moderators said, right on, little angry. Okay, there it is. Yeah, but anyway, guys. So colleges around the country canceling graduations. Colleges around the country are now Zooming. And imagine you pay all this fucking money, guys, and now they want you to stay home and Zoom your fucking classes. What, more smart ass comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said one press for a little.
What happened?
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Can you scroll or no?
Yeah, you can go back down. It's a pain in the ass, but
Look.
press one for a little, for a little angry. Who saved
Look
the life
one.
shit.
He said one person said hi.
All right. Old school shit now.
What that wasn't working.
Yeah, it's fucking acting like a bitch. So, yeah. You can take that out of the way. Hopefully this thing doesn't fucking
Oh
fall.
wow. Stop.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. It warmed up too much.
And your iPad.
Yeah. I'll get the iPad off there in a sec. All right, guys. So hopefully this is a lot better. Yeah, this is yeah, this is good. Thank you. Later. It's cold, right? That is true. That they do. It does hurt out here if you don't have the proper footwear. He came out here barefoot, by the way. So there's little rocks on the ground, and those little like slate rocks too, or shale, whatever the fuck they call those things. So again, guys, this is going to get worse across the country. Videos upon videos are popping up of these kids protesting at the college. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was City College that the kids were breaking out the tents and like I guess a sit-in, like they were. It was weird the way they did it. Like they started busting out all their shit really fast, and they were. I'm like, yo, relax. It's like it's not even that fucking serious. It really isn't. But anyway, so colleges now, sorry, students are asking for a refund. So imagine, guys, right? You're going to college, you're fucking, learning stupid shit in college, and these stupid ingrates are now protesting in such a manner that you have to Zoom the rest of your school season at home or in your dorm, rather. Sorry, depends on where you're going. And the students who are being forced to stay home are now asking for a refund, which is good. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. You should absolutely get your money back if the school can't fucking promise you what they promised you, and that was an education and for stupid people not to be fucking stupid and ruin your shit, which is, obviously happening as we speak. Now, here's a statement I'm going to make. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but here it goes. A lot of these kids, again, I believe in free speech. I understand that. I get it. But you are actively protesting not for Palestine, but for Hamas. And a lot of people, oops, sorry, and a lot of people sit there, and including the media, they keep calling these pro-Palestinian events or protests or rallies. And they're not pro-Palestinian rallies, they are pro-Hamas rallies. They are out here for those people because that's who they're backing up. Palestine, its own government, gave up Gaza to Hamas because they didn't want to fight with them. And when people keep saying free Palestine, Gaza is under control of Hamas. Hamas forced out the Palestinian government and then made a deal with them to take over just that part of Palestine. So all of these kids keep saying free Palestine, and Palestine is free, has its own government, is under nobody's thumb. But some reason everybody thinks that Israel is forcing Palestine in this boat. And it's not Palestine, it's Hamas. Again, stupid kids go to college and they don't know any better. Hopefully that's a little better. And they're constantly spreading lies from these terror groups. That's the most messed up part about this entire shit is that they keep spreading lies from these groups. And I can tell you right now, guys, Hamas, uh, you name whatever terror group is out there, they're laughing at these Americans right now. They're sitting here laughing at these kids and calling them stupid American kids. Look what they're fighting for. They're fighting to end their freedoms because you're fighting for people who don't believe in freedom, Hamas. You're fighting for people that mistreat women and kids, Hamas. You have other groups that also support Hamas. You have Iraq that backs Hamas. Iran backs Hamas. Palestine is just letting Hamas do what it does. And somehow these kids are supporting that and don't know what they're supporting. And they're making matters worse for everybody else. They blocked another bridge yesterday, I think it was, or 2 days ago. I think it was the Golden Gate Bridge again. And people are fed up. And you're going to see an incident, guys, I promise you. Before the year's over, even before the summer gets here, you're going to see somebody step on that gas. And it's going to turn into a nightmare. And it's just the insanity. And yes, uh, Brian, you have right. The LGBT community is talking about free Palestine. The LGBT community, at least the young generation, these new kids, they're stupid. They're stupider than the day is long. They're the most asinine people on this planet because they're backing and celebrating people who would put them under a knife in a second without batting an eyelash. Now, the craziness about it is people ask me all the time, well, have you ever seen a Muslim mistreat a woman in this country? Yes. When I was in EMS with the FD&Y before I became a firefighter, we ran into numerous homes of Muslims who, when if their wife pissed them off or angered them, they were sleeping on the floor or they were walking around barefoot all day or being beat up. Now, walking barefoot all day is not a bad thing, but the sleeping on the floor bullshit, the being mistreated, we've seen it firsthand here in the United States because they bring that bullshit over here with them, and people don't realize that. Just making sure that my camera doesn't melt to the fucking ground. So anyway, guys, these kids don't know what they're fighting for, you know. And Colombia, here's a kicker, guys. Colombia is right now in talks with these encampment organizers or Palestinian pro-Palestinian organizers or pro-Hamas organizers to talk about what they're trying. And the reason why Columbia is doing it because they have a commencement coming up as well, right? They have graduations coming up in Columbia College. They have graduations coming up in City College all over the nation. So they're gonna bargain with these fucking people, and you're bargaining with terrorists. That's the bottom line. And so to sit down and talk with these kids as if they're fucking real threats is a problem. The real threat should be just have fucking whatever police organizations in that state or city or county and have them go to war with these kids and teach these kids a lesson. Pain is the greatest negotiator, the greatest. If somebody doesn't want to be heard, or rather, if somebody wants to be heard, and let's just say it's the college in this case, you let loose the cops. And yeah, man, you start giving a couple nightsticks in a couple spots in the body, these kids are going to be singing a different tune. They're not going to be singing or chanting Death to America. They'll be like, oh my God, my ribs. They're going to be chanting that shit for the next 6 months. Again, guys, a lot of these kids don't know what they're fighting for. And listen, again, I understand free speech. I get it. That's a wholehearted understanding thing. But when you are fighting for a terrorist group, the problems get worse. When you have spoiled kids pulling this shit off, the problems get worse. And people do not recognize that. That's the problem. Yeah, listen, when reporters are in the middle of a situation like that, you're gonna get hurt. And that's the great and the funny thing is someone just said you sound like a boomer. I don't even know what that is because I'm not a moron that uses uh, lingo and street language to get my point across. And that's the thing, guys. See, like, again, so do we let these kids carry on with their bullshit? Do we let these kids, protest and keep making the mistake that anyone gives a fuck? Do we allow that to go on for how long? Now, there is one side of me, and this is the parenting side of me. There's one side of me that would say, hey, let them carry on. Let them do what they do and turn all the cameras off. Invite no media into the colleges, invite no reporters into the college, just turn all the attention off, have the kids attend class as if they're not there. And then you see what happens. I guarantee you these kids will take up and go. Let a week of rain come by and just leave them out there. Watch how many of them would fold. Right? And I think some of these agitators are not college students. I hate to agree with the mayor of New York. I hate to agree with him, Eric Adams, but he thinks, and so do I, that some of these agitators are not from the college. But anyway, we got a couple of articles. We're gonna not a couple. We got one article that we're gonna go over. Then we're gonna jump into again another threat from Russia, and now a new threat from North Korea. I find that to be very interesting, being that again everything that's going on, these people are just having a field day with their threats. Disassociated, I would agree. Soros or somebody in that loop is definitely running or sparking this shit because I don't understand. I don't understand why these kids are screaming and yelling about some shit that is not going to change. I said this before, I'll say it again. These protests are not going to change or stop what happens overseas. It just doesn't. And these kids are under the misconception that it is. Now, a lot of these kids have probably looked at the Vietnam War when we protested that shit. We, the human beings, and we protested that, and the protest did nothing for Vietnam, absolutely nothing. And some people seem to think it does. If you look at the history of the Vietnam War and why it stopped, protesting had shit to do with it. Right now, you'll have some reporters, and I have heard a couple of reporters say, "Well, protesting helped." No, it didn't. It did nothing. War is about money. War is about nothing else. It's about money, it's about arrogance, and it's about power. That's all war is about. If you think war is about anything else, you're sorely mistaken. But all right, Greg, see you another night. But anyway, so the article is pro-Palestinian encampment spreads leading to hundreds of arrests, and that's across the country, by the way. There are a lot of colleges, again, or states that are not playing around. They're grabbing these kids and throwing them in the bus, or the paddy wagon, as you like to say. Protests and encampment in support of Palestine and Palestinians in Gaza has sprung up at colleges and universities across the country, and the police have intervened on several campuses. In the week since Columbia University started cracking down on pro-Palestinian protesters occupying a lawn on its campus, protests and encampment has sprung up at other colleges and universities across the country. Police interventions on several campuses have led to over 400 arrests. Now, there's a fashion school here in New York City, and no, the moon's not out yet. The moon will rise in about another hour. About another hour, the moon will be up. And if we get to see it, I'll show it to you because it is a clean night tonight. Last night was pretty clean as well. I got good photos of the sun, the moon last night. Right? If I got pictures of the sun at night, we're in fucking trouble. But anyway, students protest against the war in Gaza and against schools, financial and academic ties to Israel and to weapons manufacturers have intensified since Colombia initially cleared the encampment on the 18th. Scores of people have been arrested in recent days at Emerson College, the University of Southern California, and the University of Texas at Austin. Now, again, guys, these kids seem to think that it's amazing. It's amazing how it's popping up. Now, the fashion school that I was talking about, by the way, it's a fashion school, right? It's a bunch of fucking dainty, feminist, gay kids running around talking about fashion. And they had a sit-in. They had some kind of protest. And their school doesn't have a campus, by the way. They're in a building like downtown New York, so they don't have like a legitimate campus. They have a couple buildings that they uh, float between classes and shit, and learn how to put a bow tie on a dude's head and shit like that. So it's not a real college, but nonetheless, they like to think it is. But they had a fucking like a sit-in or whatever it was. And there was one school in New York, they put an encampment inside the school. So they put a tent inside. I'm like, yo, as a teacher, as a principal, or whatever, the dean, that shit would have came down immediately. We're not playing this game, not inside. You want to build a tent outside on the street and get your point across, whatever. But you're not building it inside. Because now they built it in the classroom and they took up that classroom. Now they can't hold classes there. And because they are endangering the welfare of other students, which I don't think they really are, but that's the excuse of the schools are giving. A lot of schools are turning over to Zoom. I can't see how you're going to Zoom a fashion school. A fashion school is like more hands-on than anything else, right? It's like a trade school, but for gay men. Anyway, so where have the police intervened? This is the list: Columbia University, Emory University, University of South California, Emerson College, University of Texas at Austin, California State Polytechnic University, or and Humboldt, or in Humboldt, sorry, University of Minnesota, Ohio State, Northwestern University, Washington University, New York University in Manhattan, and Yale. These are where the cops intervene. Now, in Columbia, there were 108 arrests on April 18. Administrators had set a deadline for midnight on Friday. That would be tonight. So, but they extended the deadline, by the way. So, and they wanted protesters to dismantle their encampment and disband. That was in Columbia College, but again, they extended the deadline, so I think it's like Monday or Sunday or Monday next week. Emerson University, which is in Arizona, several dozen protesters set up tents on the campus lawn on Thursday. Emory Police Department ordered the group to leave and contacted the Atlanta police and the Georgia State Troopers. Nice. For assistance. A university spokeswoman said that the protesters were attempting to disrupt our university and that the university does not tolerate vandalism or other criminal activity on the campus. They're not fucking around, Atlanta. Demonstrators accused the police of using pepper spray and tear gas. Good. Emory did not immediately comment on the claims. Southern University, University of Southern California in Los Angeles, students also set up an encampment on Wednesday. Police officers came in and arrested 93 people. Emerson College, which is in Boston, students pitched a tent Sunday evening, according to the school's newspaper. Boston police arrested 108 and cleared out the encampment. On Thursday, the spokesperson woman for Emerson said the classes had been canceled for the day. University of Texas, which I'm a little surprised of, at Austin, students were protesting on Wednesday, and dozens of police officers, many of them in riot gear and some of them on horseback, arrested 57 people who had refused to disperse. Hold on, I missed one. All right, that was 57 people who refused to disperse. Princeton University, I missed that one. In Jersey, students started to pitch a tent on Wednesday. On Thursday, Universal officials said that they sent the protesters repeated warning to clear the area, and two graduate students were arrested. The official says the tents were voluntarily taken down afterwards. You see that? You drop the hammer right away, guys, and people will react. And these kids reacted. They left. They were like, "Oh, I don't want to get hit with a nightstick, and I don't want to get arrested, and I don't want to get in trouble with my parents." That was Princeton University. California State Polytechnic University, Humboldt in Arcata, sorry. Dozens of protesters occupying an academic and administrative building on Wednesday morning, the university said. The campus of the Pacific Coast in Northern California has remained closed since Monday after an attempt by police to remove the protesters from the building turned violent, leading to 3 arrests. On Thursdays, officials said the campus will remain closed at least through Sunday. So that's through this week. University of Minnesota in Twin Cities, 9 people were taken into custody after they erected an encampment. Only 9. Associated Press reported that Representative Elon Omar attended the protest on the University of Minnesota's campus on Tuesday. The encampment was cleared Wednesday morning, but it appeared to have returned Thursday. A rally was also scheduled for the afternoon. Ohio State University in Columbus, protesters on Thursday formed an encampment, which a university spokesman said is in violation of school policy, and they were asked to clear the tent. 3 protesters who refused were arrested. Early in the week, 2 students were also arrested during an on campus demonstration. Northwest University in Evanston, Evanston, Illinois, about 200 began setting up an encampment on Thursday. Police were present when they were asked if any arrests had been made. Evanston police officers said that's Northwestern's call. Later in the day, the university said demonstrators had removed their tents. Some protesters refused. They were cited by the Northwestern Police Department. Washington University in St. Louis. I thought it was in Washington State. Anyway, the police disbanded a protest and encampment on Wednesday, according to the school's newspaper, the old reliable school newspaper. New York University in Manhattan, the New York Police Department made dozens of arrests late Monday after students occupied a plaza on campus. Yale, hundreds of people came out to protest since last week. On Monday, they arrested only 40 people. There are other encampments throughout the country. Harvard, Brown University, University of California, which is in Los Angeles, Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. This is one, the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan. These fucking kids. What are they throwing? They're throwing around sachets and purses? Fuck them. Florida State University in Tallahassee, and then City College of New York. They have the Gaza Solidarity Encampment, George Washington University in Washington. Nearly 70 students from George Washington University, alongside students with nearby Georgetown University, established an encampment on Thursday. Later today, school officials told them to relocate the unauthorized protest encampment. Michigan State is another one. University of Rochester. Hopefully I'm saying this one. Is it called Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts? About a dozen tents were set up there. They were also actually taken down, but to no avail. University of Delaware, MIT, the nerds, the best nerds in the country, they set up the encampment. New School in Manhattan, that's the one where they were setting up tents inside the school lobby, and they formed a picket line outside the school. That's the one, New School. The University of California in Berkeley, University of Michigan, University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Rice University, University of Pittsburgh, Indiana University, and Swarthmore College. Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. That's a fucking mouthful. And their schools, they have other schools and other forms of protest. They're not doing encampments, but they are also helping out with the protest, if you will. University of Florida, University of Maryland, American University, University of Texas at Dallas, University of Texas at San Antonio, University of New Mexico, University of Texas at Arlington, University of Maine, Southern Maine, and then Purdue University. Those people are partaking in a protest of their own, but they're not setting up encampments. Anyway, so guys, here's another question. One for yes, two for no. Do you think we will see a nuclear war in the next year? Rather, in the next 6 months. Sorry. You think we'll see a nuclear war in the next 6 months? One for no, two. Sorry. One for yes, two for no. No. Yeah. Now, I thank you guys for that. I don't think so either. I mean, listen. I personally thought we were going to see a small tactical nuke being used in Ukraine, and that never happened, right? So I think everybody's like full of shit at this point, including Putin himself. I mean, how many times could you throw a threat around and then you don't abide to it? You don't do anything about it. You're sitting there, you know, just continuously talking shit. Nonetheless, guys, it is still on the table as everybody's throwing the stood around. North Korea said that they dropped the gauntlet for Americans. I don't even know what that means. I didn't even want to read the article because I knew it was going to be something stupid or something fearmongerish because that's all it is. That's all of this is. I think they are all playing us. I think this is just a game that they find funny. I think that they're going to continue to push the bullshit in regards to this, right? So anyway, Russia warns America has chosen the path of war over Ukraine. And I guess this statement came after we gave the Ukraine another $61 billion. So I guess after that, Putin was like, all right, you guys chose your destiny. But all right, fine. But what does that mean? You going to do anything about it or are you going to continue to talk shit? Now, do I rather he continue to talk shit? Absolutely. No one wants him to fucking launch a nuke. That would be bad for everybody. That would be bad for business. But nonetheless, Russia's top diplomat in the United States has shared with Newsweek a stark warning to Washington in Moscow's first reaction to President Joe Biden's signing of a bill to provide some $61 billion in additional wartime aid to Ukraine. Now, keep in mind, money is also going to Taiwan and Israel and a couple of other allies. Not sure who the other allies are. I didn't dive deep enough to look into that. The assistant is viewed by Kiev. The assistance is viewed by Kiev and is largely Western supported as a major boast to Ukraine President Zelensky as his forces struggle to fend off recent Russian advances. The Ukraine cities come under regular missile and drone attack more than 2 years into Europe's deadliest conflict in decades. For Moscow, the latest attack is considered another escalatory step towards an all out conflict among major powers. Now, again, guys, do I think that Newsweek, they just love this shit. I think Newsweek loves to amp everybody up. I think they like to get people on edge. I think that they're going to constantly contact whatever Russian diplomat or whatever Russian politician they can, and they'll ask the Russian politician, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And of course, a lot of Russians are arrogant by nature, I feel, and a lot of them are going to say some dumb, arrogant shit. Meanwhile, they're not running any of this past the Russian higher ups, if you will. Right? It's always some low level fucking, dude that's over here in the United States groveling to get back over to Russia because he hates it here so much. But his detail is here because he got punished for some dumb shit he did over there. So he's talking tough to make Russia look like they're tough, but they're really not. Because like everybody else, Russia's a bunch of pussies, right? If they wanted to set it off, if they wanted to take Ukraine, and rather not take Ukraine, but if they wanted to do something big, they would have done it already. They would have bombed the shit out of Ukraine a long time ago. But they're not. And then they keep throwing us these vague or empty threats. Oh, if you guys choose Ukraine, you're gonna feel the force of the Russians. Shut up. Seriously, enough already. We've been down this road for years now. We've been down this road for decades actually. Right? The Cold War was the same shit. It was the same empty threats. We're back here again with the same, it's like we're going back in time. We're in this Cold War bullshit again, except for politicians and war experts are calling this a uh, hot war. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but whatever. And they're like, it's the opposite of a Cold War. Yeah, I get it. But just when you say hot war, it sounds weird. Anyway, so you got us doing that. Then you got the kids protesting the like they did in the '70s with the whole against Vietnam. These kids are against the Palestinian bullshit, or rather the pro Hamas. They're for Hamas. But it's a little different now because at least they wanted the war to end at Vietnam. They weren't so much choosing sides, though there were a communist party running around during the Vietnam War trying to push for more people to join the communist party to help fight end the war in Vietnam, and that was their excuse. There is a communist party running around in the United States, but they're like no one's listening to them. Not even the kids protesting are listening to them. So let me finish off this article. While the U.S. has portrayed the conflict as a full scale war of aggression launched more than 2 years ago by Russia against its neighbor after a long pattern of hybrid hostility, Moscow considered ongoing confrontation to be accumulation of NATO's expansionism along Russian border. Now, Anatov and Antonov, sorry, has accused the U.S. of having launched an all-out hybrid war against us, with Biden administration encouraging attacks on Russian territory, including strategic deterrent facilities. Now, again, that's just more bullshit. And that's, again, a low level guy talking more shit because, why not? And of course, the same guy, if I'm not, no, this is Dmitry Medvedev, says Russia warns the United States we have, we have the might to put you in your place. Again, this is another threat from a Russian politician who fucking hates being here, wants to go back over there, or maybe he's low level there and he's just talking shit. Russia warns the United States on Thursday that Moscow had the might to put the world preempt superpower in its place and accuses the West of stoking a wild Russia-phobic new one plot to tear Russia apart. These people come up with the worst here, like the worst terms. Russia-phobic. What is that? You know, there's this new term I heard today. It's called hobophobic. Hobophobic. Not homophobic, but hobo, like homeless. And hobo. No, sorry, hobosexual. Hobosexual is the term. Look it up. I shit you not. It should pop up. It's hobosexual. It's a person who dates somebody for the purpose of living in their home. I never heard of such a thing. Hobosexual? Like, seriously? We're running out of fucking terms. We're just adding sexual to the end of everything, you know? Like, what the fuck is going on, man? Trying to read some of the comments, but they are fucking flying by. And yes, the Vietnam War was a way different war. I mean, much different than what's going on with Hamas and Palestine. And yet somehow these kids think that they're fighting the fight. Listen, man, whatever. So anyway, this guy threatens. His name is Dmitry Medvedev, who served as president from 2008 to 2012, is now deputy secretary of Russia's Security Council, said the United States had stoked disgusting Russia-phobic in attempt to force Russia to its knees. It will not work. Russia has the might to put all of our brash enemies in their place. Since Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, a few years back, the United States and its European and Asian allies have slapped sanctions on Russian leaders, companies, and businessmen, cutting off Russia from most of the world's economy. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, says that what he calls the special military operation in Ukraine was necessarily because the United States was using Ukraine to threaten Russia, and Russia had to defend against the genocide of Russian-speaking people by Ukraine. That's a fucking entirely bullshit excuse. I think both sides, guys, United States, Russia, and Ukraine, all three, are lying about everything this war is and everything this war isn't. But whatever. What do I fucking know? Again, more bullshit, more anxiety. I think that this, again, guys, is just an anxiety driven period. I think a lot of people, including the media and the politicians, are just either A, talking shit or driving anxiety up through the roof. Because I think people, they just want to be, I think people, not that people want to be scared, I think they want us to be scared constantly. I think they want us to, I guess, hang on to every word so that we can get sick or become sick. Because listen, there's one thing that's on the rise right now, guys, and it's skyrocketing, right? And it's self elimination or suicide. That is on the rise. That is on a rise in an alarming way. In fact, part of me does blame the arm ticket for it, but something else is amiss. Something else is up, not making sense. The amount of people that are offing themselves is extremely high. And I do blame a lot of this anxiety driven media, this news, everything that's going on. People are scared to go outside. And I know a few people who are just terrified to jump on a plane and travel anywhere because they're scared that whatever's going to happen is going to pop off at any second. Not any minute, not any day, any second. You got people who look at the newspaper and they're always getting scared. They're always reading this shit. And clearly, guys, there's something that they're trying to disrupt. Now, some people are saying spiritual. I think there might be something to that. You get people scared enough, you get people feeling broken or feeling left behind or feeling defeated. That is the opposite of what a person's supposed to be and supposed to feel, right? And you attack that and you attack that on a daily basis. So they do what? When you do that to browbeat the person, to weaken their spirituality, or whatever keeps them alive, whatever makes them strong. There are more people, guys, in this day and age that are offing their entire family and then themselves. I read a story yesterday. This kid woke up to his entire family being dead. His father apparently offed everybody in the home except him. I don't know why he left him alive, and the kid's 10 years old, by the way. So he wakes up to his brothers, his mother, and his father being gone. So something is up. The whole murder suicide thing is at an all time high, let alone suicide, which is at an all time high. Again, guys, something is up and it's just not making a whole hell of a lot of sense. I'm trying to make sense of it, but something doesn't feel right about this. Something feels very, very wrong. And with these protesting and and people being anxious over that, you know, people like, oh my God, they're protesting in my neighborhood now. What are we gonna do? Nothing. Fucking nothing. I mean, and people are, and Mike, yeah, people are moving funny. That's the other thing too. There's weird movement going around, guys. I don't like what it is, and I don't want to sound crazy, but I'm gonna sound crazy right now. But there's a lot of weird shit going on, and people doing weird shit. And again, the whole people offing themselves or eliminating themselves, that started even before Mr. 19. Though there's been a drastic jump, there was a spike right before Mr. 19. Then the lockdowns happened, and then this spiked again. And then the arm ticket was handed out, and now it's through the roof. And every time I turn my phone on, somebody off themselves. I'm like, what the fuck? It's insanity. Again, I don't know what's going on, but the people who are doing these things, it's just it's not making sense. And the crazy thing is when they interview other people, like from the neighborhood, a lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times, they're like, that was a good family. I would have never seen that coming. And that's the red flag to me, that multiple people are, when interviewed by different families that are doing this shit, they're all saying the same shit. They're all saying that they never seen it coming. And in some cases, you see people go, well, yeah, they were always arguing, they were always this, they're always that. Not this case. Not in the recent cases popping up. Johnny D, inflation could be playing a big part as well. You're right. I mean, people are fucking strapped for cash. People are broke. I mean, there was a crackhead who tried to sell her kid a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was a month ago now, but she couldn't get any money from him, so she left him at the firehouse. Thank you, Adriana. Appreciate it. Right. So I mean, there's always that. But again, man, there's a lot of bad shit going on, and it's not making any sense. And I'm trying to make sense of some of it, and then some of it I'm not because I'm like I feel like if you dive too deep, you're gonna entertain that bullshit, and I'm like I don't want to entertain it. Franny, yeah, listen, the 5G thing, I wonder about that too. I wonder about that too because cardiac issues are up, but though I blame the cardiac issues on Mr. 19 itself. But there are a lot of mental instabilities that are popping up, and I'm going to talk about that later tonight on the Angry Truth channel because that is on the rise, and we are seeing a lot of crazy shit go on. In fact, I'm going to talk about, if I can remember later tonight, we'll talk about two things I saw on the internet that I can't believe that these kids today are fine with this bullshit. They're wholeheartedly fine with the way they're behaving and acting online. It's insane. It's insanity to me. I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, things are getting exponentially worse. Right, Rick. A lot of craziness is going on. And I mean, it's just. I mean, like just like some of the videos out there, right? I mean, people are protesting. They're getting arrested by the cops, and then they're telling like, "Let me go." Bat and Poppy, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. You know, they're like, "Oh, leave me alone. Get your hands off me." I'm like, "But lady, you're protesting. Like you're actively putting yourself in a situation where you're gonna get arrested, and you signed up to get arrested. What you think you were gonna protest, and the cops weren't gonna touch you? They were gonna ask you, "Could you please magically get in the back of our van, so we don't have to arrest you?" Said nobody ever. The way these kids are fighting and arguing, get off of him, get off of her. I'm like, yo, you touched the cop. You threw a water bottle at him. You spit in his face. You said something stupid. You went out of your way to protest this nonsense. You were going to get touched. Whether that's hard or light, you're going to get touched. And you might not like it, but you put yourself out there. And the kids, the way they're reacting to it, it's insanity to me. I'm like, yo, back in the days, all protesters in the 70s and the 60s, when they were getting arrested, a lot of the times they did not fight. Didn't fight. They just fucking they turned around, they got the cuffs on, they got in the car. And in some cases, well, cops were whipping their ass. Truthful Patrol, I'm in Vermont, for those that don't know. Firefly, that's the other thing. The attention grabbing shit, that's fucking crazy. And Mrs. Ironside, the stage 4 cancer thing. I'm gonna talk about that a little later tonight in the Angry Truth channel, because that's a problem. And we're seeing a lot of people just suddenly pass away from this. A lot of people are suddenly developing cancer out of nowhere. Metastasizes throughout the entire body in weeks, not months, not years, weeks, and then they're dead. And I know a couple of people this happened to personally. So there's a cause for alarm with that. But again, are we ever going to find out the truth? I doubt it. Yeah, it's definitely the look at me syndrome. It's got to be. I mean, listen, look at the gym shit, right? And I don't want to jump into that. That's a different subject altogether. But look at like the chicks at the gym or the people at the gym filming themselves, and they look at me. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You know, it's this generation is all about being in front of the camera and making a name for themselves or getting a video out there so that they can be rich. There's this chick. I don't follow her, but she popped up on my thread a couple times, and she did one video, and it was just her head. It was like just her head moving, not a body. She wasn't flashing tits or anything, just her head, and she was doing a non-playable character face. And that one video got her 20. No, sorry, I'm a liar. Something like 51 million views. She's a fucking millionaire now because of that one video, and everybody thinks that they could be that girl. Everybody thinks that because she did it, they can do it too. And everybody's trying to do a viral video or hope their video goes viral so that they can catch on. And that's part of the look at me syndrome because they all want to be recognized and make money for doing nothing. Now, this girl took a little skills to do what she did, but again, 51 million views, and then they started watching her other videos on TikTok, and now she's a millionaire. She's worth like $20 million from fucking a TikTok video, guys. 20 million. She's making more than what a lot of actors were would dream of make. And actors who've been in the game for 10, 20, 30 years are not making what she's making. And she did a couple of head movements and a smile, and that was it. This is where we are. We're in this day and age, guys, where everybody wants to fucking look at me and and be famous instantaneously. Everybody wants it now, not later. They don't want to work for it. They want it right now, this minute. And that's the problem with everything going on. And I think that also plays into the psychosis of everything that is going on, is that people are carrying on and wanting it now. And that's definitely playing a role into it. Anyway, guys, That being said, I'm gonna go off the air now. I will see you guys, some of you guys in the Angry Truth channel, and the rest of you guys I will see next week for the double header. I think I'll be on next Tuesday. I gotta check my schedule. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit. I will see a lot of you guys over the Angry Truth channel and the rest of you guys next week for the double header. All right, guys? Thank you.